Hey there boys and girls, Lucky here and welcome back to another finally Overwatch video. Today I'm going to show you my favorite flank routes right here with TRACER on Numbani. Alright, so the first flank route is not precisely a flank route, but it's more like a backstab. So what I like to do, and you kind of need a sitting emote for that, is I usually jump behind this counter, and this is when you're on defense for the first point. I jump behind this counter at the very start or beginning of the round, then I use the emote to sit, just like that. And TRACER's completely hidden if she does that. Now you can also crouch down, which is not quite as good, since they can still somewhat see you in case you're crossing, so the sitting mode is a little better. But you could also just hide behind this corner, but I like the sitting mode because you can just do that, sit here, and still look through the door like that. Now if you're doing that, you can see them pass. You can give early information to your teammates of the team composition, and then most likely, for example, if they have a Zen or like a slow support like Zen or Ana, you can just dash in behind, kill, and then again retreat to a health kit, for example this one right here. So this is a very cheeky tactic that I like to do on defense for the first point. Alrighty, so now let's talk about the first point right here for the attacker side on Numbani. Sometimes there's a Ryan fire striking from right there, sometimes you got a Widow, Soldier, Hanzo up here trying to get an early pick on you. So what I always recommend is try to stay more to this side and cross this as soon and as fast as possible down to this road. Now usually you can't really do much to get on the bus, and up here that's not really possible for TRACER in a very usable way. Going up here is also not recommendable because it's very close, it's kind of a clusterfuck there, so it means that you usually will get lots of damage that was not supposed to hit you in the first place. And going here is leaving you out in the open for, well, quite a lot. So because of that, I really like to go, after you cross the bus, straight into this room. Now, usually you want to be aware of junk rep mines or traps around here, and a Zen usually sitting there trying to spread on his walls towards you, so in case you take any damage from any of that, you can immediately get back to the self kit right here and be safe. Now, something that I like to do is, once you're up here, you can just sneak past so the guys can't hear you and check if you see any supports up here. Usually there's an Ana sitting up there, or anyone right there. And what I do then is just double blink and get into this room. You got another health kit, you can go down here and go to this health pack, just backcap the point and try to make them come down, or what I usually do, and that's kind of a flank route for this, is go around to this spot, wait until your blinks are full, because usually if you have an Ana there, she might have already seen you and is trying to sleep dart you, so try to bait out that, go in for the kill, and if it doesn't really work all immediately, recall back to your last position, so you can get back to the health kit and then kind of redo that. And even just by doing that, you're already applying pressure on the supports, which should make it a lot easier for your team coming in right here. And that's the kind of main flank route that I use for the first point right here. Now let's talk about defense again. So on the second point right here, once you've lost the first one, the payload is being unlocked, meaning that you now have to stall it. And TRACER can do this quite efficiently, however it's a little bit tricky and takes some skills, so be mindful of that, because you can very easily just die and get killed. Now, of course, if I do that, I usually do it right here. The reason for that is, even though their spawn is kind of near, you got a health kit right here at your disposal, and another big one right here also at your disposal, and also counting in this one, you essentially have two small ones, a big one, and if you go even further back to that one back there, you got another big one. So this area right here is extremely good for TRACER to stall, since you got lots of access to the health kit, which means your supports can actually focus on the other teammates, and you, whenever you're just low on health, can recall, flip back or blink back to one of these, and try to recover your health. So usually when the payload is right here, they also cannot, they don't have a good line of sight on you, meaning they have to come around, and then they're kind of in a shorter range, meaning it's kind of your optimal range again. So if you hide here and you just drop a pulse bomb on them, this also is kind of nice to do. Now, in case you have to escape to higher ground, and this is, again, once kind of risky because you're kind of turning your back, you can also do it backwards, but it's kind of hard. So you want to jump and blink to the bus right here. Then you want to jump and blink again to get up on here. This is a quick escape route. If you manage to practice a little bit, you can do it very fast and efficiently. So just jump, blink, and you're already gone. Usually people do not expect a TRACER to get up here, and once again, dropping down will get you back to the next health kit, which should keep you alive. So this is only really good for stalling. It's not a specific flank route, but I think it kind of helps. So if you're an attacker for the second point, there's actually quite a nice flank route that you can use as well. It's kind of risky once again, but most of them are kind of situational. Now you already have seen the one where you get on the bus right there, and then up onto balcony. That's the one that we use for defense, which also of course can be used for offense. Now right here you got a small railing or a ledge that you can jump up to, like so. Just push yourself into the wall. Right here I'm doing that with the... Then you jump around and blink, blink and blink, which brings you all the way around, completely behind him. So if you're doing this very early, and they still got this spawn right here, you immediately get to a big health kit, can blink into this room to another small health kit, and then you're already behind them, and due to you being right at this spot and this one before, after 3 seconds obviously passed, you can immediately recall back to one of the health kits. Just make sure not to do it too early, so that you're not landing up in the open right there and just fall down to your death. Alrighty, so now you got the second point right here on the attacker side, meaning you want to complete the match and move it on to the third one. So usually what I do is I go up these stairs. You want to avoid the choke down there. Since Tracer is so extremely squishy, most random things can actually one-hit headshot or just kill her most of the time, meaning that if you go through an open choke, like down here or below us, there's lots of open space, you have to burn lots of blinks, there's no cover, many random shots can kill you, so do not go there. If you go up here, you immediately got a small health kit. Make sure there's no Junkrat trap right here, especially after a Junkrat buff. There are so many Junkrats now, so make sure when you come into this room to properly check your corners. Now, the thing right here is you can try to be Pharah, just stay up here and do Justice, Rains from above, which is semi-effective. You can kind of release a little bit of pressure from your team and kind of make them look towards you. And then again, you have to retreat, you know, sit and duck right here. So what I usually do is I jump over here, use 2 blinks, and I'm on this elevated spot. Once again, that's kind of an elevated position. If you use 3 or you jump more, you can also get into this position. But I prefer the one down here since you got a cover behind the trees. So once you're at a more elevated position, enemies of course have to adjust for their aim, so they have to aim up. And usually they're not expecting a Tracer to be at such a spot. And once again, you can just blink around, get on top of here, and then get back to this small health kit. And this puts you at a very good position. You got lots of cover at this spot. This spot you can go back to the top side right there. You can also spawn kill enemies here. Sometimes there, depending on how much ground you have to cover. But it puts you behind the enemy team, which really makes it easier for you to actually apply pressure to them and, well, force them to make more mistakes, again, helping your team to actually push through the choke more efficiently. And yeah, I think these were kind of the main flank routes that I use. For the defense side, there isn't really a main flank route. Of course, you can also go through here, blink all the way up, and then you want to just go around, drop, pulse bomb, get back. And of course, this can work. It's not super awesome, it sometimes does not really work, and it's kind of situational, so you can keep that in mind as a somewhat defense flank route, I guess. But to be honest, it's more of a quick pulse bomb thing. Otherwise, when you just drop down here and you have to fire at them, you only got 3 seconds for a recall to put you back up here. Otherwise, you're just down there and once again, kind of a sitting duck. So yeah, that was my video about my main flank routes with Tracer right here on Numbani. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to check out my other flank route videos with Tracer, and I also got one with Genji for most of the maps, and I'll link them at the end of this video right here or in the description down below. But yeah, I think it's worth it for now. Once again, I hope you enjoyed it, and luckySkillFaker out.